Hello. In the background, you are seeing my old reality. You are seeing my reality where I was working so many jobs and I was just begging and begging and begging God to just let me live the life that I wanted, that was full of the things that I cared about, the passions that were getting me up every single morning, at this time of life. But you are watching this from my new reality. You're watching this from my reality where I am living that passion and where I have achieved the things that I care to achieve, and I have made it into a spot in life that is full of the things that I care about and has just given me such a sense of control and such a sense of freedom over life. So this is my message to you as you are watching this from my new reality, okay? Do not let anybody ever do not let anybody choose your story. If people tell you the story that they think that you have to live, you are allowed to say, no, that is not going to be my story. The story that you choose to live in life is the most important choice that you make every single day. Every single day you are actively choosing whether you decide to live the story that people tell you to live or whether you are going to choose the story that you want to live. And the minute you let people choose your story for you, you have relinquished your deepest happiness in life and your deepest sense of pleasure and fulfillment. So many times over, I was given the choice to look at my life and the things that I was doing and to tell myself, hey, that's impossible. You're not going to get there. You're not going to succeed and you're going to fail, and you need to stop and you need to have smaller dreams and you need to just engage with the reality that other people are serving you, the reality that other people seem to be fulfilled by, and the reality that they are okay with. And every single time I had to make the active choice to say, no, this is my life, this is my story, I'm going to choose my story in life, and I don't need to succumb to the pressure to absorb other people's stories and to absorb their limiting beliefs and their ideas about what's real and what's true for me. And as I've said no to that story, I've gone on such a magical adventure, and I think it hasn't fleshed out completely, but it's fleshing out very interestingly, I will say. And it's hard, I think it's extremely difficult to start saying no to the story that other people force upon you. It is grating, it is extremely uncomfortable, it is the most difficult thing you will ever do, but you will be so happy that you did it, and you'll be so happy that you decided not to succumb to the pressure to live the reality that other people have served you. And we can take this collectively too. As a survivor, there were so many stories that I felt pressured to give into and pressured to live, that this was just gonna be the way things were, that there was no helping me and my condition, and there was no changing the society that we lived in, or that this was, it was too big of a task, that I should just move on, that I should just sort of give in and just keep quietly living my life. And I said, no, that's not going to be my story at all. I'm not going to live that, and I'm not going to live in a world where people just keep allowing the same story to continue over and over again to women all of the time. No. And you have the right to. You have the right. It is our deepest spiritual right to look at a story that is being served to us and say, no, I'm not going to live that story. That is not the story for me. That is our deepest spiritual right that we possess as humans, as co-creators of reality. You have the right to choose your story, and you have the right to look at the things that people say about you and say, no, that is not going to be me. That is not going to be my reality, and I'm going to make a different one. It is 100% within your grasp. If you have a story that you want to live, you will live it. I'm not saying you can live it, you will live it. Try. Do not succumb to the pressure to live other people's stories and to give up and just to fall into the same prominent story that everybody has already lived and everybody has already told you is what you have to live. The world is so full of endless possibilities and endless paths that you can take towards the thing that you care about. And do not let anybody sit there. I've gotten this story told to me so many times by people who didn't care that much, that we can't have an equal society, that we can't have an equal world, that people are always going to be a certain way, that it's just human nature, that, you know, that it's just part of life. I'm saying no. No. I do not have to live that reality. I don't have to succumb to the pressure to conform and to accept people's expectations of each other. And I can set new expectations. And as you start to get into that wavelength, and as you start to say, no, that's not going to be my story, and you present people different options, we all start to operate on a different wavelength, and we all start to operate with different options. And I think sometimes it takes people to show other people what their true options are, as you know, as individuals and as a collective, for other people to see that they have options too, and that they do not have to live the typical story, and they don't have to live the collective story that we've decided. And you are allowed to say no. If somebody is telling you, as a marginalized person, or somebody, you know, if somebody is telling you a story about what your character is and who you are and what kind of person you are, you can say, you know what, no. I do not consent to that story. That is not the story I've chosen, and respectfully, I disagree, and respectfully, I will not live the story that you have imposed upon me. And people impose these stories on each other, not even out of malice, but just out of believing that that's the truth. And if you feel like that's not the truth, don't operate on that truth, and operate on your own truth. And you can jump into your own different dimension. You know, we don't have to always live the story that other people tell us, and we can choose what is possible for ourselves. And as we do that, we make new options for each other. So yes, thank you for watching from my new dimension that you are living in, where I have successfully, you know, gotten out of poverty, that I'm living well, I'm financially abundant, I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm not living a typical path. I'm living a very unexpected path, something very different and unique to me and the things that I care about. And that, thank you for, you know, watching this from my reality, where I never succumbed, you know, to the pressure to just go with the status quo, and to give up on my dreams and the things that I cared about. And I kept going, and choosing my own story. And I hope that now you will watch this and you will make your own dimension, where you've lived, you know, your story, and you have chosen not to succumb to the pressure to operate on other people's wavelengths and live other people's stories. If they want to live that story, it is their right. Everybody has the right to choose their own story, and so do you. That's it.